I think a big thing about this whole new phase, this whole new tournament format, is the extra games, especially the games these WSL teams are going to have to be playing. And Arsenal were so close to getting into the top 4, weren't they? They made it 5th. But I think they need those 2 extra games to kind of keep on this high horse that they're on. Wouldn't you agree? They've just won Champions Cup. They're doing so well in the WSL. It's almost like they don't want to take their foot off the gas.
I actually think it's in their favor right now because they have had a very tough stretch of games starting 2026, and they've done exceptionally well. Like, based on how they were looking in the fall, where we were all kind of like, what's going on? What's happening? Is there an issue? You know, what's the problem for Arsenal? Because they were having some misses or some letdowns in some games. But this start of 2026 for them has been fantastic. So it's like, pile the games on. Just keep them coming because they're doing well.
Yeah, spoken about their depth. I think that's a very different. There's a lot of
games have weight, and so it's like you can't say, oh, I'm not going to start my best 11,
but they did.
Exactly, yeah. And you're right, they have depth. So I think that they're kind of a team that's like, keep their players playing because they have so many
balance right now.
I agree.
For them.
This format right now benefits Arsenal because they have everybody healthy. And because they have depth. That's massive.
Because then people can stay happy.
Exactly. If you don't have that depth or the players fit, then these games don't benefit you.
Oh, for sure.
Arsenal is taking advantage of that.
Because they came 5th, then they met the 12th place team, and that was their reward, that they could rest some players. They can have this spirit now of the team of players contributing, and that leads into the weekend and then the following week and the following weekend.
Yeah, and you mentioned their big games they're playing in. Finals of the Champions Cup.
Yeah.
They've got these games where it's kind of do or die. You win or you go home. So it prepares them for the latter stages of this tournament as well.
For sure. I think that, again, we've said this today already, but Arsenal's hitting their stride. And if I'm Chelsea, potentially looking at, you know, who are we going to play in the quarterfinals? I don't like what I'm seeing from Arsenal because they really are looking good.
Yeah, this edge has shifted now
100%.
Across London.
Yes, absolutely.
Do you agree with what we were kind of saying before this break about Arsenal, how they've got so much depth, but they're kind of hitting their stride playing all these games?
You're feeling so good.
Yeah, I am. You know, I keep saying,
you can't stop smiling.
I keep saying to everyone, they're making my job so easy, man. This retirement life is great when your old team is doing phenomenally well. They just keep winning, and look, still early stages, right? We just got knockouts, but I think you guys summed it up really well, and I'm glad we get to continue the conversation because they're a joy to watch right now.
I liked that picture of you on the graphic there.
Thank you, Ali. Yeah, I'll need to look at that one. But no, great performance, really professional. I think to break down a team that play in low block takes a lot of patience, and I think when a lot of rotations are in a squad, we spoke about this before, it's hard to get that connections, and I think it was a really professional performance, and one that is really confident going back playing at the Emirates, knowing you've got that level of a cushion.
Jen, how much credit do you give Renee Slagers and how she's managed the team and kind of adapted them through playing Leuven twice now, 3 times coming up, and also Man City, Chelsea, just... Again, when we talk about the depth, that also can often bring some challenges for a coach.
100%. And I think everything I hear, because I'm still close with the girls still playing, and everything that you would want from a manager, I always think, as a player, you just wanted to know what your role was. I think that was the key to a happy camp, right? When you're playing for a top team, you never know what 11's going to come up on the team sheet. And I genuinely think that competitiveness is why everyone wants to play for a top team. So it's the communication. I think she's very, very direct. I think that she doesn't go off on tangents when players go and ask for explanations of why certain things might be happening. For me, I loved that as a player. I had that under Jonas Eidevall, spoken about that before. The more directness that someone can tell you exactly where you stand. And I think their plans have been exceptional. You watch that Man City game, they absolutely won the physical battle phenomenally well in the WSL. Everything tactically that they've shifted, whether it's, we've even talked about this off camera, their front 3, you can't really name it because they have so much quality and how different they can play, whether it is Olivia Smith, Stina Blackstenius in a 9 stretching a play, or if it's Alessia Russo up there holding it against a low block. They just have this versatility about them. And I think coming up to the business end of the season, as I love to call it, is where you have to be playing against so many different teams. They're going to come at you in different ways, and to be versatile in those moments are really key. So I think she's used her squad phenomenally well and been direct in communication of how she's handled every single character in there.
Yeah, Arsenal now taking the advantage back home to the Emirates next week. Now, it was an amazing day for Frida Maanum. Played the whole 90 minutes, had 2 goals, had 4 shots, 2 of those being on target. She had a great day today.
She absolutely did. She generated a lot of offense for Arsenal, assisted by Caitlin Ford. She was playing in that 10 position, and I think it was just her ability to time her runs into the box, get into the box, be present, because you got to get close to goal to be able to score goals, and she was able to do that. I think that OH Leuven, some of the defending could have been a lot better. She was able to be free in the box most of the time when she was scoring, but credit to her to put herself in a position to be able to finish those crosses.
And we talk about finishing chances. It could be a different day if she gets those balls and she doesn't put it away.
It has been a different day for Arsenal. That's the thing.
Yes.
Like in the fall, those goals and those crosses were not producing goals. Like that was, I think, their issue was they were generating offense, but they weren't as clinical. And I think today showed how clinical they've kind of made this shift into being very clinical in the final third.
In the right time, right, Jen?
There you go, business end, business. I knew you liked that one. No, Frida Maanum for me is a prime example that hasn't really been playing every week. But when she has played, she has done so well. Champions Cup player of the tournament, I think you were saying, Kelley. Great comment. And I think that goes to show that when someone isn't playing week in, week out, but then can step on the pitch and perform at a level that they know they're capable of, Maanum's at her best when she's given the freedom. And I think when you're playing against a low block, when you need those runs in behind, you need someone that just has the ability on that from an international standpoint, reading the game, knowing when to run into the box, knowing when to play it wide to provide a cross. Her decision-making was spot on today, and I think that was what was so key for Arsenal as well.
So was this game won today from playing out wide? All the goals came from crosses?
All the goals came from crosses. So I think that they were very... They were clinical in their wide play into the box, right? A lot of times you can put balls into the box and, you don't either have the runs, you don't have the right movement, you don't have the right timing, but today Arsenal had all of that. I will say so much of their ability to get these crosses into the box came off of their patience in the build-up. The Olivia Smith goal, there were 19 passes before her final touch into the back of the net. So for me, I loved seeing that patience in the build-up, but then again, the execution in the final third, you have to be clinical, and Arsenal was tonight, for sure.
I think it's common also, I will say, when you're up against a low block, the spaces usually are out wide, and it's about shifting them from side to side as quickly as possible. And those moments there, picking out a player, don't just throw balls into the box.
Right.
This ball as well, right in between the defenders and the goalkeeper, is so key because it's harder to defend. So it's definitely something that for me has been clear. They've been working on combinations in the wide area because they know that's where the space is, whether it was Emily Fox, Katie McCabe on either side, getting wide to combine. But again, the deliveries in the box, picking out a player, not just throwing it in, was really well done.
OK. Why don't we take a listen to what Chloe Kelly had to say after the game, because she had to speak about the keys to this match and just how Arsenal were able to pull off the win.
Congratulations with the win. Arsenal dominated from beginning to finish, so I'll ask your first emotions.
Yeah, very happy with the win. A professional display from us, and going into the second leg, we know it's only half time, so we need to be ready for next week and recover, rest well, and go again.
How important do you think in the first half the connection you had with Smith was, because you really broke down Leuven's defence?
Yeah, really good, and Caitlin as well, as a front three, enjoying playing together, and Liv playing in the 9, knowing that she'll make that run across the face of goal. And yeah, it makes it easy for us wingers when she does that job.
It was the first time we saw Olivia Smith connect with Chloe Kelly today, first time all season. Do you think that's something we'll be seeing a bit more from them too?
Potentially. The comment I love the most is knowing she's going to make that run.
Yeah.
You asked me earlier about connection and how that happens. It's from training. You practice that. How often you say your number 9 make that front post run because it drags a defender out. I love that comment. Is it something we'll see again, to answer your question? Potentially. It worked today. I think, again, it's about versatility, knowing who you're coming up against. Of course, you didn't have Stina Blackstenius or Beth Mead in the squad today, so they're another, quality that they could have added. I know, there's still so much quality.
Off the bench.
Yeah. So maybe.
Yeah.
Anna, maybe.